The last time the world faced a food crisis, there was one nation that met the twin challenges of food security and an exploding population head-on. India is a country that 50 years ago was getting food aid and is now almost totally self-sufficient. India's population went up by 50% in the first half of the 20th century, and with it, the demand for food rocketed. But in the 1960s, the country's fortunes changed. As food riots flared up throughout the subcontinent, India turned to science in an attempt to feed its population. Punjab is the Indian state that was the focus of those scientific leaps forward that became known as the Green Revolution. A combination of new high-yielding strains of wheat and rice and intensive farming techniques. These new ways of farming enabled Punjab, which makes up less than 2% of the country's landmass, to grow 20% of its wheat. In the 1960s, Jagjit Singh Hara was one of the first landowners willing to experiment with what were then revolutionary agricultural techniques.
In early 50s, when we came here, just one crop and marginal crop, and no much irrigation here, no canal irrigation. So those things were not here, and the soil was not a good fertility as in those jungle and barren area. It was only the confidence came when we got the Green Revolution.
The Green Revolution dramatically increased yields for Punjabi farmers.
200% increase. It's not a small jump. Then we got the confidence we can feed not only India, we can feed the whole world.
The new farming methods were introduced along with new breeds of rice and wheat. That combination had a dramatic effect on yields. In 1965, a farmer in Punjab could grow enough rice to feed 12 people on 2.5 acres of land. By 2007, he could feed 30 people on the same plot, almost a threefold increase. This was a massive rise in yield, particularly for an area that had barely grown rice before.
This state, Punjab state, was not known for rice. Hardly rice was rarely we used to eat. It is the economics. The return from the crop was so good, and then the farmer said, why not we do it? So it spread like wildfire, and that's why a small part of the country is feeding India.
In the 1960s, India led the world in this new form of farming. It was seen as a model by many other poor countries struggling to feed their own people. Even in developed countries, new, more intensive agricultural techniques led to an increase in production throughout the 20th century, with a threefold increase in wheat yields alone in Europe between 1950 and 1990. These advances not only helped to feed India, they also dramatically raised the standard of living in Punjab. The word for wheat in Punjabi is kanak, and it's also the word they use for gold. That's not just because of the lovely color of this wheat, it's also because of the wealth that it has brought to the state. Bisak is the traditional celebration of the wheat harvest, and Mr. Hara is having a party for the occasion.
Today is the Baisakhi day, and the first day of our month, which is known as Basak. We are the people who earn and spend and enjoy.
The new technologies raised yields so significantly that many farmers' lives were transformed.
green revolution in Punjab especially, I know of, has really made a big, big difference. That has really changed the standard of living a lot more.
More material goods are available like refrigerator, television, and things like cars, motorcycles. So that's there. And people are better off. They want to live better. They are living better.
Punjab has profited from its position as India's breadbasket. But some believe that now, after 40 years, the party is over, that this level of success is not sustainable.